So let's go into the lesson. This lesson I've titled Beyond Fear. We want to look at fear and discuss an antidote to fear, and then after that would come to our interactive section. So good evening and welcome to our Wednesday Creative Living series at Fourth Center of Religious Science. We are always thrilled to have you with us as we explore transformative ideas that shape our understanding and life and our place within it. Everything that we do, we gather each time, is to discuss these ideas, these truths that we know that if you put to use wherever you are, it will show forth for you. It's no respecter of persons. It's the truth. It's the stand-alone truth. It does not need the support of anyone. So together, we will delve into insights that inspire empowered living. We want to live that empowered life. We want to live from that place of knowing, that place of connection, that place where we know that all is well, and foster greater fulfillment, connection, and purpose. I always like each time, one very important thing each time I'm asked is that I like to fulfill purpose. I like to understand purpose. I like to know the reason for which I have come here to be. What have you come here to be? Who have you come here to be? So purpose is very integral to our growth, our expansion, anything we find to do. At the end of our lessons, we engage in interactive sharing sections. I personally like these sections because I see different perspectives of our interpretation of this truth, where everyone is encouraged to contribute their thoughts and reflections. I mean, I may see a principle and interpret it from my experiences or what I am now. But when I hear your own perspective about it, it gives me a wider, broader view about this teaching. So these discussions, it adds depth and meaning to the teaching, providing valuable insights and personal interpretations. So back to the title. It's often said that fear is humanity's greatest enemy. And it's true that fear is one of the most significant weaknesses. I'm sure everyone has experienced, that is certain. We've all gone through different fears, series of fears, maybe going through one or so many at this point in time. And so many of people are plagued by fears of the past, the future, aging, mental illness, and death. I mean, sometimes we just sit down and worry and we're fearful of what we haven't seen, of the future. These fears can paralyze us, prevent us from living our lives to the fullest. That's what it does. It just cuts off your joy, your happiness. It just cuts you off from being in the present moment. So we often allow fear to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this means that your fearful expectations influence your behavior, making the feared outcome more likely to occur. So just like we have positive expectancy, we begin to create a fearful expectation, begin to build it up. So this situation can lead to actions or inactions that align with negative expectations, thereby leading to a situation toward the very result you or me want to avoid. We get so fearful, we get so scared of a situation, just like the statement, what I feared most has befallen me. I mean, it's like each time we think about the negative, the fears of the woes, that it's like we are calling it forth. For example, if someone fears failure in a job, they might begin to, they may become anxious, hesitant to contribute ideas, or overly cautious about the work. This is what fears do. They just cripple you. Things that you could do, you just find that you're not able to do them. Others could then perceive these behaviors, like I said it at the workplace, as lack of confidence or competence, potentially leading to poor performance evaluations or job loss. And ordinarily, this is something without fear you would comfortably do, thus confirming the original fear of failure. This is just what fears always do to us. Fear narrows our focus and limits our ability to see alternative opportunities or to even take proactive steps. Sometimes we're so fearful that it does not just affect our mental health, it also affects our physical health. We begin to experience different manifestations in our body. I have a good affirmation that we could use when we are feeling fearful. Every breath I take is the life of spirit, reminding me of my oneness with infinite possibilities. It fills me with strength, might, and clarity. It brings calm and courage, empowering me to take positive actions and make clear decisions despite my fears. We'll put this in the chat room. I like to go through this again. An affirmation in situations when we are fearful. Every breath I take is the life of spirit, reminding me of my oneness with infinite possibilities. It fills me with strength, might, and clarity. It brings calm and courage, empowering me to take positive actions and make clear decisions despite my fears. In spite of everything, in spite of the situation, we true students, we choose to see the good. Despite the fears, I know that I am one with infinite possibilities. So fear is often described, we all know this, false evidence appearing real. And this is based on imagined scenarios, and assumptions rather than facts and truths. There are things that we imagined, they can't be quantified, they're not real. While these fears feel real and can trigger significant emotional and physical responses, they are deeply rooted in distorted perceptions rather than reality and truth. Everything we talk about here, there are truths proven. You can put it to use anywhere and it will show forth for you. Again, one other thing fear does is that it's difficult to be in the present moment when you're fearful. How can you ever be in the present moment when you're scared of the past, you're fearful of the past or the future or anything? It just takes away your power, your joy. Because we know anytime we come to that place, the present moment, and be in the present moment, in the now, we harness, we're able to absorb or be in that realm of power where we know all things are possible. So recognizing that fear is based on false promises can help us challenge and change our thought patterns. Whatever you're fearful of, you know it's false. We need to come to that place where we see fear and we say, whatever this situation is that's making me fearful, the build-up to it is false. It's a lie. That is what we do as true students. Yes, I'm fair. It is normal to be fearful. But whatever the components, whatever is comprised of, the build-up, the foundation is false. They're all lies. In our classes, we know we can use techniques such as mindfulness, spiritual practices like meditation, positive affirmations to reduce or completely stop its power. And that's why we always encourage us to try to create that moment, quiet time. In quietness and in confidence, it's our strength. Another way is by reframing our fears through spiritual practices. What it does is that it allows us to live more empowered and confident lives. Yes, it's normal for us to be fearful, but as true students, we want to reframe those thoughts, those ideas, those false premises. And I have a good example of how we can reframe our fears. I recognize that fear is a natural and normal part of life, intended to alert me to potential dangers, but not meant to hinder my progress or choices. I acknowledge my fears, understanding that they stem from my mind's attempt to protect me. However, I see them as signs pointing toward areas where I can grow stronger and more resilient. Each time I feel fear, I take it as a cue to breathe deeply and remind myself of my oneness with life and my ability to overcome challenges. Beyond fear lies a wealth of opportunities for personal development and fulfillment. Therefore, I courageously embrace my fears, using them to propel me forward rather than hold me back. I am committed to overcoming my fears with grace and confidence, knowing that each step I take in confronting them expands my horizons and deepens my understanding of who I am and what I can achieve. As true students, we can always turn the situation around. If it's with a thought, we say it's a thought, and a thought can be changed anytime. We can start our day anytime. You have the power to do that. You can do that now. It's within you. So, my fears do not define me. All it does, it refines me. The fears that you are experiencing does not define who you are. It just makes you better when we overcome them. Just like gold would go through fire to be pure. Many people believe we live in a time full of fear, fear of being alone, fear of being in large groups, fear of crime, fear of pain, and fear of committing to something. There are just so many things we are fearful of. It seems like countless fears trouble our minds. If fear is our biggest problem, then faith is our best solution. So we can rightly say that faith is a powerful antidote for fear. What does it do? It provides us with a sense of trust and confidence in the face of uncertainty and challenges. That's what faith does. Where situations where fear constricts and paralyzes, what fear does that? Faith empowers us. It liberates us. It opens avenues to be expansive, to be creative. It aligns you with the supernatural. So we have faith in a higher power, belief in ourselves, and confidence in the positive outcomes of our actions. As often as we listen to and practice these lessons, we build our faith. So we can build our faith. The scripture says faith comes by hearing, and hearing these principles, these truths, as often as possible. So faith is the inner assurance that despite difficulties and unknowns, a guiding force or inherent goodness in life supports me. We have such faith, such knowing, such assurance that despite this, only good can come out of this. It's like believing and feeling sure about something you want, even when you can't see or prove it. You have so much assurance. I don't see it. I know it's done in the mind of God. I know it's here, and I'm walking into it. You begin to act like it's done. So faith helps us trust that these things will. Faith is not just a passive belief, but an active, dynamic force. So you can't actually say you have faith and you're not, there's no corresponding action. That is not faith. Maybe that would just belief. It involves taking action based on trust and conviction. Again, the scripture says faith without works is dead. I mean, we have to move our feet in the direction of what you're trusting to show forth. The most successful persons, they have incredible faith and conviction in themselves, in their abilities, and belief in a higher power. It's a combination of all these things. So we are all familiar with Paul's quote from the Bible. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. The idea behind this quote is that faith is essentially the foundation or substance for everything we hope to happen, even though we cannot still see it. So what are those things that you hope to happen? Faith is the foundation for those things. If we do not demonstrate or show more faith, it might be because we have a limited understanding of what faith truly is. The substance of things hoped for. How can we build our faith? By constantly hearing, listening to this truth as often as we can. So this means we can only manifest those things we believe are possible in our lives. If you believe all things are possible, you can only manifest those things you believe are possible in your life. Just as laws of nature consistently work under certain conditions, faith also operates reliably every time we engage. And we engage with it when we actively trust and rely on something beyond what is visible or immediately known. It involves consciously leaning on beliefs or convictions, especially when lacking tangible evidence. Jesus taught, according to your faith, it shall be done. It's done according to your faith. So the depth and strength of our faith shape our experiences and outcomes. If you believe all things are possible, according to your faith, it is done. Again, it is the evidence of things not visible. Just as we can't directly see emotions like love and joy or abstract concepts like spirit, we understand and acknowledge their existence through their impacts on our lives and the world around us. Similarly, though the creative power of the universal mind is invisible, we do not doubt it because we can observe its effects everywhere. Everywhere we feel, we experience. It works in, through, and around us, influencing our lives and reality, even though it remains invisible. Thus, faith is about trusting in these unseen forces, trusting the process of life, and knowing that it is unfolding perfectly. I like this aspect of it's unfolding perfectly. Everything is working out. They're all divine orchestrations to bring it to a place of abundance, to an expected end. Just as a gardener plants seeds, hoping they will sprout and flourish, we plant our thoughts in a spiritual realm, believing they would grow and lead to positive outcomes. One of my favorite stories of faith is about a devastating drought in the Midwest. This drought was so bad that the small community agreed to meet and pray for rain. At the meeting, only one small girl brought an umbrella. So only the small girl had faith that it will rain. Faith is practical because it is an affirmative attitude of mind that effectively uses the creative power of thought. When we treat, when we pray or set goals, it's crucial not just to believe, but also act on those beliefs. So you're treating, you're praying, you're also acting on what you're treating. Because you know it's done in the mind of God. And it will show forth at the fullness of time. So this action is what brings our desires into reality. Faith is not only a belief, it is with corresponding action. Faith with works. This is how the law works. It is not a respecter of persons. It works for all alike. And when we ignore the law, it does not excuse anyone. So we want to direct our thoughts away from negatives of loss, lack, and limitation toward the good. We learn to direct our thoughts toward what we want to demonstrate and avoid the negatives we do not wish to attract. We understand that faith operates as a law. It isn't enough to believe in principle involved. When we use the principle, it will produce results for us. It isn't enough to affirm that faith can do anything. We have to find out how faith is acquired, then we use it. Affirming faith is good, but it doesn't bring the demonstration. We have to use it. We have to work it out. We have to move our faith. To say that God or spirit is all there is will not necessarily cause anything to happen. But something will happen when we believe that God's spirit is all there is, have implicit confidence in the law of good, and use the belief for a specific purpose or for different purposes. We have to use it. We have to put it to use. We have to work it out. We have to practice it. We have to step out in the direction of our belief of what we are treating. So possibility, then we are prepared in our faith and conviction to go beyond our usual limits. Possibility is of the spirit. It's possible. We talk about infinite possibilities. While probability is based on human reasoning. Maybe it would happen. Maybe not. The faculties are thinking, are processing that. Many people limit themselves by only believing in what seems likely to happen rather than embracing the limitless possibilities that unfold in our lives. We always talk about positive expectancy. So you wake up in the morning, you declare a lot of things. Oh, this would, I'm whole, I'm complete, I'm walking out in faith, I'm trusting, I'm this. Are you walking, trusting what you are positively expecting? Do you go looking out for what your positive or your affirmations are? Faith comes with works. We move in the direction of what we are treating, what we are affirming. So in our classes, we want to hold on to possibility, not probability. We know that God or spirit, with God's spirit, all things are possible. And there is a divine potential within you, within each of us, waiting to be expressed and realized. That is what we gather each time to activate. It will bring good or evil to anyone who uses it, according to the direction we give it. Through our use or misuse of the law, whichever direction you use it, it will work in that direction. We know that already. It will be a law of freedom to move beyond our boundaries to those who use it rightly, and bondage if you decide to use it the other way. Through affirmative treatment, we direct the law of mind to create what we desire by replacing a definite and specific, by placing a definite and specific demand upon the creative power of spirit. And when we do this, we cross the boundary from fear to faith when we place this demand, placing demand on consciousness, and calling those things that be not as though they were. So we have faith in the divine principle that will forever operate in our lives. And when we do this, we cross the boundaries of limitations. We recognize the source of all supply and accept that this divine source is forever creating and giving of itself. And know what? We are the divine beneficiaries of this givingness of spirit. And what we do through these classes is to know this, position ourselves to be this. To be these beneficiaries. We declare often that we are supplied and supported. So when we declare this, how do we go working this out? Do we fold our arms? No, we walk. We do the needful to experience the abundance. The infinite mind of God doesn't know limitations, and we are connected to that infinite. We are one with it. So we walk ourselves, we build up our faith where we know we do not have limitations. It doesn't know lack or even disease. if you're experiencing any of these, you just know it's a phase and you're going through it. The thoughts of the universe for you are thoughts of good, to give you a hope and a future and an expected end. Because you are one with infinite possibilities. And we know that what we send out will surely return unto us. If we send out a consciousness of lack or limitations, that's what we demonstrate in our lives. Oh, poor me, pity me, all that. Because we know consciousness is always demonstrating itself. So we want to embrace faith and the endless possibilities it brings, because that is how we can transform our lives. By consistently practicing faith and trusting the perfect unfoldment of life, we begin to see good even in situations that are not good. We cultivate a mindset attuned to growth and greater good, because that's all you see. Because even when you see otherwise, you know how to change that thought. We make it daily practice to affirm our beliefs, to visualize our goals, to remain open to the unexpected ways the universe may respond. It works in diverse ways. Trust that each step taken in faith is a step toward a richer, more fulfilling life experience. Remember, faith is not just about hoping for the best. It's about expecting the best and acting as if it is already on its way. You're trusting, hoping for expansion, and you're everywhere is decluttered or filled with stuff. You're not making room for more things. So keep this spirit alive in your daily life and watch as the landscape of your reality transforms through the power of faith and possibility. And so it is. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for being here.